Productivity used to mean checking all the boxes, keeping the house clean, answering emails at lightning speed, and squeezing every last drop out of the day. But what if that version of productivity isn't really serving you? What if doing less didn't mean you were lazy, but you're just being intentional? What if success wasn't tied to how much you accomplish, but how you feel at the end of the day? So in today's episode of Cozy Notes, we're flipping the script on traditional productivity and exploring what it could look like to do less and live more. So if you're new here, I'm Suan, and this is Cozy Notes. Yeah, it's in my car again. Still here. Recorded a second podcast episode. If you listen to the last one or watch the last one, you'll know that I was filming in my car. And yeah, I'm filming again because I still have 30 minutes until I need to pick up my kids. So this is Cozy Notes. It's a podcast for intentional living, and I'm so glad you're here. And today's topic is about redefining productivity to make space for a more meaningful and fulfilling life. And so some people call it soft productivity. Some people call it slow productivity. I'm sure there's some other phrases to describe it, but I kind of like soft productivity because it just seems, cuddly and gentle, and I'm all for cuddly and gentle, especially on a cold, gloomy day like today. So the old definition of productivity, the definition that the productivity bros out there love to push as if it's a drug or something, is that you need to do more, you need to be faster, you need to be efficient, you need to be constantly checking things off. And it's undoable. It's not doable. Maybe it's doable for the bros out there that have a partner that takes care of majority of their household and child rearing duties, or maybe they're single. So yes, of course they have a lot of time. If I were single, I'd have a shitload of time, but I'm not, so I don't have that much time. Hustle culture's message is that your worth is tied to how much you get done. And I know so many people out there that really beat themselves up when they don't get enough done, or when they don't accomplish their to-do list, or they just don't do enough, and they just feel bad, and they just really use awful words to talk to themselves with. Like, where did you learn this? Was this how you were treated as a child? That if you didn't get enough done, that you were worthless? No, you are worthy. Your worth is not tied to your productivity. Remember that. And then also the to-do list that never ends, and how it keeps us stuck in survival mode because we're constantly feeling like we need to get things done. It makes us anxious if we don't get things done off of our to-do list. But the thing is, our to-do list never ends. There's always something new to do. So it's like a never-ending list. So we're just constantly anxious the whole time. And that is no fun. That's not a good way to live. So a new way to define productivity is intentional productivity, soft productivity, slow productivity, doing what matters with presence, prioritizing depth over quantity, creating meaning in space and not just output, and feeling energized, not depleted at the end of the day. Now, how many of us can do this? How many of us can raise their hand and say, yeah, that's my type of productivity. That's what I do. Most of us, no. Most of us, we grind ourselves to the bone. Is that the saying? I always get my idioms mixed up. I know that a lot of my fellow friends that have immigrant parents, we often mix up our sayings or idioms, whatever you want to call them. So yeah. I mix mine up all the time. So doing what matters with presence, instead of doing all the things, prioritizing. It's really just about prioritizing what matters and doing those most important things first. And again, I know I repeat myself all the time. If everything is important, then nothing is important, because you're not giving the depth of focus that the important things need, because you're just spread thin everywhere. I know people have done the cups of water. So you have a pitcher of water and you have all these different cups that are your priorities in life, and that you fill the cups up, but you're not filling the most important cup up first. You're filling the least important up first. So by the time you get to the important cup, you barely have anything left for it. So yeah, we don't want to do that. So prioritizing is filling up the most important cup first. Prioritizing depth over quantity. It's better to focus on the few things and really do them well than to do many things mediocrely. It's better to do a good job than to do a crappy job, I guess is what I'm saying. Do a good job on a few things than do a crappy job on a lot of things. And if you prioritize and you focus on depth over quantity, and you're in the end of the day, you're going to feel energized. You're going to actually feel accomplished and not depleted at the end of the day, which is our goal, right? Like, we don't want to become zombies at the end of the day. But that being said, we often feel guilty for doing less. Like, we have this internalized pressure to keep up with other people or to stay relevant. And that's just harming us. So, like, we're not living our lives for ourselves. It's almost like we're living our life for someone else or to meet someone else's standards. And that's not a fulfilling life. Not at all. And then we also have this fear that slowing down means that we're going to fall behind. We feel like we need to do more because we want to go viral. We want to become popular. We want to become rich and famous or just become wealthy, be successful. But yeah, slowing down isn't going to stop any of that from happening. You can slow down and still accomplish all that stuff. You're not going to fall behind. You're just going to be more intentional, and you're going to do quality. You're going to create quality work. You're going to really hone in on your relationships and have like a good, healthy relationship. Like, just slowing down does not mean you're going to fall behind. You're not going to fall behind. You're right where you need to be. And just because someone else skyrocketed doesn't mean anything about you, because you're not them and they are not you. You don't know all their circumstances and all the help that they may have gotten, or how long they've been working on whatever they've been working on in order to get to where they are. It may seem like they skyrocketed, but maybe they put in like 5 years of, silent effort into it. And then finally, whatever they're doing, launch them forward. So yeah, it's all about momentum, I guess. If we reframe rest as part of productivity, because you can't be productive if you're exhausted. So you need to incorporate rest. And it's not just sleep. I'm not just talking sleep. I mean just rest, where you're just doing nothing, or maybe you're doing something that fulfills you. Like maybe you're crocheting or knitting or coloring, but just some sort of rest that refills you and not drains you is what I'm talking about. And if we incorporate rest into productivity, then it'll help shift our mindset around it, and we won't feel so guilty for doing it. All right, so next is small shifts that create big change. And the first is to set boundaries around your time and your energy. You know yourself better than anyone else. Like for me, I know that my energy gets depleted really quickly as an introvert, and I need to be mindful about how much I take on and how those things affect my energy and my time, because I don't want to be like going from here to there to here to there and like have no white space, no buffer time, buffer zones, whatever you want to call it, in between. Like I have to set boundaries. And I think I'm pretty good at it now. I wasn't good at it in the past, but I'm much better at it now. Like, say I know something's going to take me an hour to do, I'll say it takes an hour and a half to do it, because something usually comes up, or if nothing comes up, great. That means I just have some buffer time in between things that I have to do, and I get time to rest and to relax and just to enjoy being a human. So another shift we could do is, some people call it mindful work habits. So basically it's just doing one thing at a time. We often think that we can multitask, and maybe sometimes we can. Like I can listen to a podcast and do dishes because it doesn't take any mental energy for me to do dishes, because I've done dishes so many times in my life that I can just, listen to a podcast or listen to an audiobook while doing dishes. But sometimes multitasking is, like you can't really do it. Like trying to answer an email while also listening to a podcast. Like I really don't think you could really do that. You're just task switching, which takes up more energy than just focusing on one thing and getting it done and then going to do whatever else you need to do. So one task at a time. You'll end up getting it done quicker. You'll also be more focused and you'll do better work. And the next is to schedule rest like it matters, because it really, really does. Rest really, really matters. Like how some of you schedule in your workouts, schedule in your rest time so that you actually rest. Because so often we push it aside, say, oh, I'll rest later, or I'll rest when I'm dead, But no, you need to rest now because your body needs it. Because otherwise you'll be dead sooner than you think you will be, because, you don't rest. And then also learn how to say no without apologizing. Like I was invited to a book club. I love book clubs, but I don't have time for a book club. So, I love the idea of book clubs. They're so awesome, but unfortunately I don't have time in my life this season. Maybe in the future. So I may hit you up on that again. So saying no without apologizing. Because when you apologize, it makes everyone feel kind of awkward and weird and like, why are you apologizing? It also makes you look weaker too. So when we apologize too much. So let's not apologize all the time. So I have a reflection question. I think this is my new thing where I'm going to give you a reflection question is, what does productivity mean to you? If it's not just about how much you accomplish. Really think about that one. Yeah. What would it look like to feel fulfilled without overdoing things? That's a good one too. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I don't know. I got 12 more minutes until I need to pick up my kids. Maybe I'll record another podcast. We'll see about that. Okay. Ciao.